Well, that certainly was a interesting penultimate. Hello everyone, and welcome to this latest Minty reviews for Ahsoka, the Star Wars series that's currently going on right now, and this one was episode 7, the penultimate one, titled Dreams and Madness, which, I'm gonna say this right now, weird title for what happened in the episode. Feel like they didn't really match up too much, but we'll get into that. So, as I normally do with these reviews, I'm going to do a non-spoiler section first, followed by a spoiler section of my thoughts and feelings of the episode, and then like a little closing kind of thing as well. So, I'm just going to get into it because I'll be honest, I don't really have much to talk about in this episode, which is a very strange thing to say for it being the penultimate of the series. So, get into non-spoilers first, so non-spoilers here, everyone. This episode was fine. It was incredibly fine. There was some really good action beats in it. There were some really good character moments with certain characters in it. Particularly Thrawn had some really great Thrawn stuff going on. We got some cool Ahsoka moments with some certain things going on. And we got some really, really cool moments with Sabine and with Ezra as well. And mainly, this is still non-spoilers, Iman Esfandi as Ezra is pretty much perfect. Like, I am loving everything he's doing with live action Ezra. So good. And honestly, I have grown to love Natasha Leo Bordizio as Sabine as well. I love her as this character, like, so much. So, not much really happened in this episode, though. That's the unfortunate thing. Like, not a lot happened. And for it to be an episode that was supposed to be 45 minutes long, I technically kind of timed it. It was around 38 minutes long, which is like, okay, that feels a little bit disappointing there. There was a lot of stuff in this episode that was just like, oh, this was kind of disappointing for it being a penultimate. And a little bit of it is just general expectations for a penultimate episode of a series. Usually penultimates are like really big episodes, like a lot of stuff happens, like a lot of storylines are either like starting to get wrapped up or just big things happen to set up for the final. And not really in this episode. It was just kind of an episode. And it felt really short as well, with not a lot happening. So that's basically going to be it for non-spoilers, because I can't really talk about anything else without going into spoilers for the episode. It was a little disappointing, I will say. Not bad. It was not a bad episode by any means. It was just disappointing for a penultimate for the series. So with that said, let's get into spoilers now. So spoilers here, everyone. Spoilers. So in 3, 2, 1. Disappointing, I guess? Yeah, just go with that for this one. We start off with Hera at the New Republic, talking to the council and basically trying to plead her case as to why they shouldn't court-martial her. And it's pretty interesting because Senator Zhawan is still like full force against her. Just full force against her, like, hey, you're using up our resources, you're going on a fool's errand, your entire report was like a fairy tale, we don't believe you at all. And he also starts insulting some droids as well. It's pretty bad. And Hera's like, yo, you're not listening to me. Like, Thrawn's coming back. The Empire's clearly coming back. There was a really cool part here. There's a really, really cool part where Captain Teva actually spoke up and was like, hey, what about the incident that happened on Mandalore with Moff Gideon? So it's like, okay, cool. We have a timeline now for where this show takes place. This show takes place after the events of Mandalorian Season 3, which, you can watch that up here somewhere, after the events of Mandalorian Season 3, which is like, cool, we have a timeline. But they're actually acknowledging that, which was like, hey, that's just Moff Gideon bringing back the Empire. And of course, Senator Zhawan is like, yeah, that was just an isolated incident. There's nothing from that. It's like, come on, dude, really? Really? Nothing from that? Really? They broke out Moff Gideon. Really, dude? But either way. However, in that whole scene, we do get a really cool cameo appearance by C-3PO. Like, C-3PO just comes in, he's just like, oh, hello everyone, I'm C-3PO, I'm here. And he basically comes bearing a message from Senator Leia Organa, which is really cool. We get a name drop of Organa, and clearly Organa's working with Hera somewhat, and clearly Leia is knowing about the rising empire and is clearly building the next version of the rebellion, because that's what she does. But sends 3PO in there, clears the case and everything. Mon Mothma, as an agreement, is like, hey, you know what? Hey, if Organa's here and she's on the defense council, then I guess we have nothing else to say, really. This was a covert mission. That's why she didn't say anything. So we get some cool stuff there. However, the end of it is pretty nice and pretty interesting for the setting up for later stuff, I'm assuming, where we do get Mon Mothma, again, played by the lovely Genevieve Riley. Love Mon Mothma. I love Genevieve Riley so much as Mon Mothma. But we get Mon Mothma coming in and just talking to Hera, basically being like, okay, did you actually talk to Leia? And she has a funny thing, like, well, eventually. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. But what if you were actually doing this, how likely is it that Thrawn is coming back? And Hera basically saying, we need to start preparing for the worst. Because it's true. Because as we know from Palladia, the other planet, the other galaxy, as we know from there, Thrawn's coming back. And that's not good, because if Thrawn comes back, the Empire comes back with him. And then we get into the rest of the episode, which takes place fully in the other galaxy, on the other planet. And we get a really nice moment, we get a really awesome moment of Ahsoka training with a hologram program, a hologram like recording of Anakin. So we get to see Clone Wars Anakin again. Very cool. Love that. And basically just going through the reps and going through the motions. We find out there's like 20 of these recordings, so we can see more of them at some point. And then they just start basically going out of hyperdrive. Or hyperspace, not hyperdrive, hyperspace from the whales. There's a minefield, so they got to get through the minefield, and they start hiding out in the graveyard, which is, fine, whatever. Meanwhile, on the planet, we get the reunion of Sabine and Ezra, which is really nice, really touching. Sabine just kind of was like telling Ezra what's going on. And then they start getting attacked by the bandits. There's like a little moment there with Baylan and Hati, where Hati's like, "Hey, you come in and help me?" And Baylan's like, "Nope, this is all you. Go do this. I gotta do that stuff." It's like, okay, intriguing. We just have Skull just basically telling his protege to go become part of the new Empire while I go do something else. So what is Baylan doing? He's clearly being called by something. So what is he being called by? It's some ancient force, some great powerful force. He's being called to something enough to leave his Padawan or his protege, whatever. It's like, what's going on there? And we have some Thrawn stuff of him just trying to lure out Ahsoka, which happens. Ahsoka comes back out. And then we have a big battle. We have a big battle in this field with the Noti people, some bandits. The Night Troopers come down. They're actually referred to as Night Troopers. I watch stuff with subtitles on. They're referred to as Night Troopers. That's a very cool thing, because they might be undead. That's also a very cool thing. That's actually true. But either way. So we fight the Night Troopers. Ezra has the opportunity to grab his lightsaber and just go full Jedi. And he's like, nah, it's okay. You can have this, Sabine. I gave it to you. It's fine. So we don't get Ezra with the lightsaber. We get him doing this, like, really cool, I will say, really cool, like, Force Kung Fu fighting style, which is pretty cool. And then we get the reunion of Ahsoka coming down too and helping them and fighting off these Night Troopers, and then they just retreat because Thrawn's like, no, we learned what we need to learn. We wasted their time while we, loaded up our stuff so we can boot out of here and leave. And then the episode ends. It ends with a reunion, and there's a little fight between Ahsoka and Baylan before then, and it's a really good fight, I will say, and that's the episode. It just ends with a reunion. So it's weird. It's weird. It's really weird, because this episode felt like it should have been a lot more. Like, we should have gotten Ezra with the lightsaber to show that he's a full Jedi. We should have gotten, I don't know, something more with Thrawn. Like, something more with Ahsoka. Like, setting up something for the finale. But we really didn't. And it's weird and disappointing, but it's hard to talk about it being disappointed, because, like, I don't want to say it's like expectations, because, having really high expectations for something and then being let down because it didn't do something isn't something to be disappointed about. Like, having your own expectations for something, I do this all the time with Nintendo Directs, and a lot of people do this with Nintendo Directs too, where it's like, you set up yourself so high, for like, oh man, I can't wait for them to announce like a new F-Zero game, and then they don't. It's like, well, this Direct sucks, they didn't have new F-Zero. It's like, they never were going to. But, like, there's certain things that kind of happen in every penultimate of every series ever, and like nothing really happened in this one. It was just kind of an episode, and we got some really cool action. Yes, we got some good character moments, we got some really good moments in general, but it just felt like a disappointment. And now, granted, I'm still very excited for the finale to see what happens there. I'm really hoping they don't pull The Last of Us and have like a 30-minute long finale, because that would just be really bad. But it just felt strange. It felt very strange. Like, it was cool. Like, everything I was seeing was awesome. Like, it was some good Star Wars. But compared to the previous 2 weeks episodes of last week where we got the return of Thrawn, we got the return of Ezra, we got the reunion of Ezra and Sabine, you know, we got all that stuff. That was all really, we got to see a brand new planet we've never seen before in Star Wars. Like, all that stuff was really cool and like really exciting, and like those, that stuff felt like it should have been a penultimate. And then the week prior to that, we got the resurrection of Ahsoka. We got the return of Hayden Christensen as Anakin. We got all of that stuff, the phenomenal flashback sequences to the Clone Wars. And then this week we just have, you know, a fight with some Night Troopers. We get, you know, the reunion of Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra, and, you know, and Amon Esfandi as Ezra is phenomenal. And we get a little bit of Thrawn stuff. We got some of Thrawn's theme coming back in with the score was pretty good. And that's about it. It was weird. It felt really sweet. It felt really weird, really strange. I don't really know how else to talk about it. So that's kind of where my review ends for this week. Like, not a lot happened this week, and I really am curious to see what you all think as well. Let me know down in the comments for sure, what did you all think about this week's episode, because I was a little bit disappointed with it, and I really just want to know, like, what all did you think about this week's episode? And that's basically my review for the whole thing. So yeah, let's let me know in the comments what you all think about this episode as well. And if you like this review, as little as it was, you know, leave a like as well. It helps out over on the channel as well. And if you want to see more from the channel, want to see more reviews that I do for stuff and reactions I do, then subscribe as well. It helps out for the channel. It helps us grow a little bit. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It does help out. And if you want to see more from the channel, over here's going to be a playlist for another Star Wars thing you can watch. Go ahead and watch that too. And then over here's going to be a video YouTube recommends for you as well. Yeah, I'm excited for the finale that next week. So let's just be excited for the finale, shall we? So until then, just may the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace, everyone. Peace.